I'm back. Is it a problem across the board, or what do you mean infectious? Has Dark managed to speak to Bread yet? No, I want to, but we haven't managed to do it yet. Dark's kind of been, busy. All right, we'll go back to it. And you and me. So hot, man. It's ridiculous. I gotta get a fucking AC for next year, man. I really do. I don't even know what I want to do with it, though. I don't even know where to put it. I don't know how to fucking attach it. We'll have to see. But it's like the door to my office is open. The window. One of the issues is this office only has one window. Like, it only has one. So it's just a tiny little fucking window, man. You're laying on the floor? I wish I could lay on the floor right now. But thanks to these heckin' role players, I'm here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to invest in a window one. Thing is with me though is that I'm such like a hot-blooded person anyway, that I'm gonna have the AC on in the fucking winter if I'm too hot. That's the issue. Excuse me. I know, man. It's such a hard life being handed role play on a silver platter, dude. Fucking sucks. One thing I'll be transparent because I like talking about roleplay thoughts sometimes. One thing I am actively thinking about is like when it comes to consequences, I try not to. First of all, anything. Okay, how do I say this? I do think about other people when I'm trying to like either hand out consequences or whatever when it comes to the server as dark. I don't let anything like stream related influence that, but it's more like, are these consequences going to be enjoyable for the other person, really? Um, but it Barber. Basically, it's difficult. It's difficult. Because it's a very serious situation. Um, so it is difficult, but yeah, I'm just trying to think what's going to be the best storylines as outcome here. What that makes sense for everybody. Aaron, what are you saying?
Oh, there was a 311 that just came in. I saw this individual's name in the MDT earlier. There was a report on it. It was pretty lackluster. I was wondering, is there any issue with me looking into it?
What is it?
A woman was found like beaten and tortured, admitted to the ICU, and they've just woken up. So,
I mean, this sounds like your bread and butter. Go for it. Actual keyboard, yeah, it is. Issue with window ones in UK's windows are weird. Oh yeah, 100%. This. Last time I messaged Grayson was 2 years ago. Holy shit. Photo taken by a group who witnessed Sam Bass attempt to murder and sacrifice me. Brian Knight was an accomplice to this. Yeah, well, Sam Bass is dead, I'm afraid. Jesus Christ, Shelly. Shelly's a fucking Alex Jones too. Oh my god, she keeps going. I always question the PD's motives. They do not protect the people, rather their own self-interests. Maya's out here tweeting. Casual reminder that the Senate bribed the press on camera. Don't forget that. Should I retweet that? Dark's not good at Twitter. He probably doesn't know how to retweet. Listen, at the end of the day, Dark's a very professional person. So even if he did know how to do it, I don't know whether he would. Because officers tweeting just gets people in, other people other than themselves in trouble. You didn't know what the button would do and just lie? Listen, sometimes I do wish I was playing Dark as another character. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that is something that I would do. But Dark's not a liar. Why can't Dark be unprofessional for once? That would be against his character traits. All I saw was a bunch of gaslight. What is Reed on about?
Coming up on 30 images of various.
Who is that detective?
Just picked up a whole bunch right at the start of.
I don't actually know who that is.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I think it's Scully. I think that's Malcolm and Scully. I haven't seen Malcolm in a while. He looks like fucking Bob.
Richard, am I good to go down there?
Go to the hospital? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be back.
It makes me happy. We call the Senate down to open court. Pretty good idea, right?
Yeah. Damn, I haven't seen her in.
I've seen her a little bit in the last week, I feel like.
Well,
Before that, yeah, but recently,
I don't know.
Okay, hello everybody. Let's get this meeting started. It's good to see everybody on duty. It's very kind of you to be here with everything going on. Just to reiterate, you guys are not expected to come on duty at all, given everything going on at the minute. So, you know, no one would blame you if you didn't, but I appreciate that you are. Yeah, no announcements really. Don't go to Sanguine. That's basically it. Don't be stupid. keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, that's about it for announcements, guys. I'll be honest. So what I'm going to do in this meeting is, if you guys have any questions or concerns with everything going on at the minute, then ask away. I am an open book.
Yes, question.
Question.
What the fuck is going on?
It's a very broad question. Okay,
Okay.
in what regard?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of smoke. No fire yet, but I mean the LSBN article, the results of what happened on the island, the DOJ making wild fucking statements over public service announcements. Yeah, there's a lot of angst in the city right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So when
like,
it
there's
comes,
no communication down at all. Not like that's not like a jab at you guys, because shit's just fucking crazy. So there's just like, we're hearing nothing, you know. So I'm just like,
no, I get it. When it comes to the unprofessionalism from Judge Cross earlier today, the Chief Justice has been made aware of that unprofessionalism, and since being aware of that, Judge Cross has seemingly taken a vacation. Where to, I don't care. But he shouldn't be a problem when it comes to keeping the peace anymore, at least over the next, week or two. When it comes to transparency and stuff like that, that is my goal at the minute. Second to accountability. So, press statements and stuff like that should be flowing out pretty sooner rather than later. And kind of keeping everybody informed about what is going on and our stance on things is going to be made abundantly clear. I'm going to make sure that's done today. Within the next few hours, there'll be press releases and stuff like that. But when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to you guys asking me any questions, I've got nothing to hide. So, but that being said, if you guys are feeling out of the dark, that's on us. So we'll make sure that there's more transparency and more information flowing down, as well as out to the public.
would you rather a follow-up question afterwards in private, or can I just throw it out in the air?
Go for it.
Are we still following the orders of a commissioner and a senator that gunned down an unarmed prisoner in Bolingbrook?
I think I'll answer that by saying that I urge you all to keep following your chain of command. That includes going to your sergeants or your high command if you have any concerns with anybody in the chain of command. And if you are ordered to do anything that you do not feel is morally correct or illegal or any of the sort, then you have no obligation to follow those orders. And I can guarantee you right now, if someone orders you to do something like that and you don't do it, then you will be protected by myself and the chief.
Good answer. Sorry to put you on a spot. Difficult.
No, that's
question,
what I'm here
but
for.
No further questions, sir.
Anybody else? If you
What
don't-
maybe I missed that. What is the stance that High Command has about everything that's going on?
Everything is very broad because I'll be honest, it's been nonstop. Just punch in the gut. I have to punch in the gut. There's been a lot of bad shit that I've heard about. But to put it bluntly, High Command does not support war crimes. And that is the stance going forward, and that is the stance we're going forward with when we're dealing with anybody who's done anything questionable within the past 2 weeks.
Does anybody know the definition of a war crime? Because I hear that word get thrown out a lot, and I feel like nobody actually knows what it means. Like, do we even follow the the Geneva Convention? I don't think we do.
No, we don't. But is it murder in Los Santos? If it's murder in the United Kingdom, yes.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, it's, you know, different.
Believe
sort of
me,
war
that
crime.
argument
Sure,
has
but-
been brought up that things that people have done are not considered war crimes just because we don't follow the Geneva Convention. Sure, we can't charge anybody who committed war crimes because we don't follow that international piece of law. That does not mean we're going to keep those people in our police department.
Okay. Cool beans.
Regarding the island and the radioactivity that's been announced, is there a reason why it took a week for that to be announced? Because we did have multiple officers that, unfortunately, with everything that happened, attempted and actually went to the island. So we had other officers, including myself, that were forced to go rescue said officers and had no idea anything was going on. Neither did the rest of the population. Like, how did this happen? When did it start? And why did it take so long for that to be announced?
Okay, it's a good question, but it's not an easy question to answer because when it comes to the radiation side of things, first of all, we believe that originated post evacuation of the island. And so, given that we had nobody over there and nobody was showing any kind of symptoms that was over on the war, we weren't aware until it was obviously too late. But as soon as I was made aware, probably 24 hours ago, or probably a bit longer, that's when immediately the island was shut down. That being said, obviously there was a disservice to anybody who was going over there because we should have taken the correct precautions and that kind of thing, and that wasn't done. That's just the truth of it. That being said, the island is still off limits, though we believe that the radiation situation is under control at this current time.
That's what they said at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and then it was definitely most not under control. Not saying you don't have no control. I was just,
no, I get what you're saying. But that's the information. The information we have at the minute is that it's under control. Obviously, we're not stupid, and we'll keep an eye on things. Okay. Any more questions for me? If you don't feel like doing it in a room full of people, I'm very comfortable to speak to anybody about this. As long as I'll be honest, I've been stuck in meetings most of the time, but I will find time for anybody who wants to speak one-on-one or in a small group or anything.
Is there anything that we can do when we have a situation where the highest authority of government is doing things that are not correct? Like, what actions are we taking, if any? Like, what can we do?
I think as an individual, I think that the thing I can urge you all most is to keep yourself to your own standards and know that we as high command are never going to force you guys to do anything that you don't want to do. That shouldn't be happening. If at the end of the day, if you don't want to do something, then we can't force you to do anything. Because obviously, sure, you might lose your job if these crazy fuckers say you're fired. But at the end of the day, that's your right to do so. But when it comes to as a broad perspective, as high command and PD, it's a very difficult question because let's be transparent and let's be honest. There are no checks and balances for the Senate. We as high command have checks and balances in the commissioner. The commissioner has checks and balances in terms of the Senate, but who governs the Senate? It's a difficult question to answer and one that's actively being asked by, I'm sure, a hell of a lot of people in the city, including myself. Right now, our goal is to make sure we take care of our own problems first, and then we can turn our sights to more pressing issues like the one you're talking about. So right now we're trying to pick up the pieces and make sure things are glued back together and functional, and then we can move our sights to bigger things. Ready?
So, and I want to clarify because this happened obviously at the prison and with people on duty. If I have a senator that shoots an unarmed person in front of me, am I cleared to send them to prison? Do I treat them as any other government employee that is now put on the docket? How do I treat that situation as a normal officer? I want that answered because we have people here that probably already had to deal with it, and I honestly don't think it's going to stop. If it happens again, I want to know that I'm taking the actual steps that are correct because I'm having a little bit of deja vu about what happened.
Fuck, that's a hard question to answer.
I'm sorry, I'm asking so many questions, but I think
Nope,
it's necessary
that's fine.
ones.
I'm going to answer this question both as a member of your high command and as a human being. The Senate sent us to war, and per the LSBN video, did some very questionable things. I would treat them like any other government employee and not take any physical action there and then. And part of that comes down to safety, really. Because as much as I can protect your job and do my best to protect your job, if that goes bad, I wouldn't be there to protect your person if that went bad.
That is a very scary answer, I'm not gonna lie.
I apologize, but that's the honest truth. I'm not trying to put any cherries on this, really.
No, I mean, it's important, like you said, transparency. I'm just commenting that, our physical safety is in danger because an officer might potentially step in on a senator executing an unarmed man. That is a very concerning time to be alive.
I will be very blunt with you, Assistant Chief. If anyone, and I don't care what position they hold, they're standing in front of me, they shoot an unarmed person, I am shooting them. And I don't care if I lose this badge or if someone executes me. That's my morals. So I apologize if I have to take those measures, but I will do so. That's the oath I took.
Honestly, sir, I also stand by that. Like, imagine if I was with you, sir, and then a senator or somebody decides to shoot you right in front of me. Am I supposed to salute to that? Am I supposed to just turn a blind eye to what's right and wrong?
Yeah, I'm with them. I mean,
I
I'm all for
will.
due process, but not gonna lie, I think everyone was thinking it, but Minerva's one that said it first. If I'd been there, I might have just shot him. The senator.
Because apparently right now, like anything that we do that the senator doesn't like is treason.
I think I want to clarify what I was saying. I trust you all to do the right thing. It's just that right now, the right thing isn't often supported as much as doing the wrong thing is.
Also
And I'm
very
trying to
good
change that. So, I am never going to stop you guys from doing the right thing, which sounds like all of you want to do. And I'm never going to stop you from doing that. And no one in high command should. And if they do, then they don't deserve the position. So, what I'm saying is, if you shot the senator in that position, I personally do not think you would be in the wrong.
Makes me wonder what was going through everyone else's head that was present. All the DOC up on the rafter, all the other police that were present.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the DOC said, please stop shooting because Axel also shot someone for throwing a shoe at him, even though he was on the rooftop.
Really?
Do we have a force? Do we have a use of force matrix that someone can pass to these guys?
I don't think they understand what use of force matrix means.
Oh no, but
I
they
don't
do.
think
No. Hang on, wait. They do though when we break it.
Of
They
course.
do when we break it, obviously.
Honestly, I don't think they understand the stand your ground law at this point.
Yeah, should they even have weapons? Like, I'm confused.
Does Axel Justice even know the names of the officers that were killed on the island?
No, because we called Kevin a deputy, which is
Mhm.
fucking ridiculous.
What
I'm
the
sorry for
fuck?
swearing, but
He
that
did.
statement
Yes.
annoyed the hell out of me, and I just had to say something on the emails because I've known Kevin since before I was part of this department, since I was looking at the
Jesus.
fucking walls of the
Not doing
prison
himself any
for
fucking
a
favors,
lot
is
of
he?
time, and he's a very close friend from a lot of people that have been here for a really long time, including yourself, sir. And I think it was honestly very disrespectful that they did not take one single second to look at a roster that's very much up to date. I think it tells a lot about how much they respect us in uniform.
Yep.
It's really fucking sad, actually.
You know, fuck it. I'll say this: when I was mayor, they wanted me to embezzle money for them. Those fuckers.
The Senate, dude.
Yeah, yeah. And when I refused, suddenly there was an investigation for me.
Oh my god.
Now I don't know where did you guys
Interesting,
get your tip off, but I do have my suspicions.
Wait, yeah, Abdul, talk to me afterwards, and we'll talk about that in detail. Yeah, it just doesn't stop, really. Believe me, my list is far too long than it should be when it comes to the mishaps of PD. Mishaps is a understatement, really.
I don't think the PD has made any mishaps, to be honest. I think all these mishaps are coming from... And mishaps is a very light word. It's just
It is.
colossal fuck-ups from the very top.
You know, there's people in PD that have made those mistakes as well.
I suppose so.
Listen, the main thing that I want to emphasize when it comes to, you know, what can you do right now, which you guys might be asking, I think is keep doing what you're doing. You know, it's our job as command and high command to hold people accountable. It's your job as officers and deputies to keep the city running. The city doesn't sleep. At the end of the day, we still need people like yourselves holding the city together and protecting civilians and ensuring law and order is upheld. And I truly believe that you can all do that and keep doing that. And I hope that you know, we as High Command are going to make sure that this is dealt with accordingly, and it's not going to be an easy battle. But it is going to happen. And
I do want to add something in the end. Sorry, sir. I thought
it's
you were...
okay. Go ahead.
No, I want to just say thank you because finally someone is speaking up. And it took you getting out of the hospital for someone to stand in front of us to actually communicate with us and tell us that something is being done, because that's been really, really difficult to assure people. Though I knew that something was at least attempted to be done in the background, having someone at a higher position standing in front of all of us and actually talk with us, it's very big. And I really hope that others in high command understand how important that is. So thank you.
I mean, listen, just because I have a different rank doesn't mean I'm not a police officer. I'm just like the rest of you guys. I just am very fortunate to be in a position that I can deal with it. You know, this is one of the reasons that the chief asked me to have this position, so I'm not going to throw it away. I'm here to hold people accountable and to keep you guys in the loop, and I'll do my best to uphold that, you know, even if it, whatever happens, I'll follow this through. Ready. And to kind of finish off, like I said, I'm busy. I'm in a lot of meetings, but I will make time for every single one of you. If you have any more questions, out of this room, give me a text, give me a call, or just find me. Okay?
I have a question.
Go, Aaron. Go.
So I just want to know where we stand with the situation that happened the other day. We went to the prison. They asked for assistance. It wasn't a lockdown. I think there was 3 people there, like PD wise. They asked us to just look over them on the catwalks. They basically had a missing knife. They were trying to like get it off this one person. They didn't know who had it. Um, they were going to detain everybody, and DOC asked us to shoot anyone if they resisted cuffs, and we didn't feel comfortable doing that considering they hadn't actually attacked anyone. And afterwards, uh, the came and complained to us. So where do we stand when we enter the prison grounds? Do we still follow our SOPs, or do we have to follow the DOC instructions? Because apparently they were saying we have to literally follow their rules.
Interesting. Follow your SOPs. DOC are clearly going through a lot right now and are probably very understaffed, and they might have different SOPs, but that doesn't mean ours go out the window as soon as we step in the prison. This is a similar situation to the question Minerva asked earlier. If someone is asking you to do something that you do not, think is right, then don't do it. Especially when that comes from someone completely out of your chain of command. I will follow up on that, Aaron, and I'll see if I can find some more details. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. But I appreciate you all being here, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, sir.
Girl.
Go on. After you. You haven't got anything to drink, do you?
Yes.
I'm very parched.
Here.
Thank you very much. Abdul, you right?
I'm good, G. You said you wanted to talk to me.
Oh yes.
Later?
Yeah. Let me follow up with you. Okay. I'm gonna add it to the list, and I'll catch up with you. Okay.
Alright, alright.
Thank you, mate.
Hey, it's all good, G.
Is it Holden?
Hello?
Hey, Harvey. It's Ass Chief. I got a quick question for you, if that's all right.
Sure, yeah, shoot.
You're like a DLC liaison or something, right?
Yeah, I am him.
Okay. Is it commonplace, or is it a new thing that DLC, or is this accurate at all, that DLC are clear to open fire on unarmed individuals that are resisting detainment?
Like during a riot?
I'm not exactly. I mean, anytime. Is that a thing? Anytime.
Usually the people open firing on unarmed people or police during riots. And usually it's after they've been warned several times. Stop resisting. This is a lot prisons in lockdown. Stop resisting or you'll be open fired upon. The other time to open fire is break-ins. If somebody breaks in, they're shoot on sight, and that was a declaration from before the Senate.
Okay. All right, but in general, DLC are not shooting unarmed people. That we said.
Like just for fun? No.
I don't know the
Is
context.
this referring to the commissioner and the senator doing that?
No, this is another bag of shit I'm opening. Aaron Carter mentioned that there was an incident with I think there was a knife involved, a missing knife, perhaps. It wasn't. I don't know whether it was a lockdown or anything. I'll try and find out more details. But it's basically that DLC were asking police to, it's basically telling police if anybody resists, shoot them. So obviously that's a concern that I'm trying to follow up on.
Do you know what day this occurred?
No. I don't. I'll get some information from Carter and I'll follow up with you. Okay.
Sure. I'll come down.
All right. See you in a bit.
All right. See you soon. Bye.
Hey, Viva, you come in.
Hello. Yeah, I'm on my way in. Hello.
Hello.
I think a lot of people were grateful that we've finally sort of heard a little bit of sense from someone. So I appreciate you standing there and taking a barrage of like questions, because it has been a bit rough trying to field everything.
Sure.
I
yeah.
have spoken to a lot of people and I've reassured them that, I keep pushing it until something was looked at or something was said and done. So if the impression came off from what Minerva said about how there was finally someone telling them that, it was a bit confusing, because I've spent a lot of my time over the past week and even before the war trying to amend that trust that people were losing within other people within the PD. But I passed everything on to Sweets. I don't know if he mentioned it to you or Libby, but there was some stuff about EMS, or some stuff about just officers in general talking to each other like crap. Especially those that you'd expect better from, especially those in higher ranks, just because they're in higher ranks. I very much put myself out there when the war was declared and confronted Axel about the way in which he and Brian approached things. I expected to lose my job. I thankfully think I got away with that one. But I feel like we have a duty of care to ensure that the people that fucked up throughout this have something definitely coming for them.
They do. Like I said in the meeting, we're dealing with our own foes. So the first two people we're dealing with are Brian Knight and Walter Christmas. Those two have a panel this week, pending scheduling, which will define their position in the police department, essentially. So that's happening this week. Following that, I convinced, and he has volunteered. The commissioner is going to have a panel of his own, where we can question him and present any accusations or anything like that. And, High Command will, in a similar fashion to other high command panels will make a decision on his position in the police department. Then then we've got to. That's what I was saying. Is basically then we've got to look at the Senate. So that's a hurdle we've got to cross at some point. But we've got to kind of focus and clean up our own mess, and then move on to other messes. Really, to be transparent.
Okay.
Also, when it comes to Minerva, don't let it get you really. With things like this, people often don't take good news well, in the sense that if you're telling Minerva that things are being looked at and things are being done, and I'm keeping you informed, even though that's good news, the bad news often outweighs it, and it gets pushed to the bottom. And then they look for the next person to tell them something good. So I just don't let it knock you down. Really, is what I'm
No,
trying-
I mean, I feel like every time I come on duty, there's something that's weighing someone down, and they have to have a conversation with me, and then we go through things and try and fix it. It's been like that, obviously, tenfold with everything that's been going on. But earlier today, I got on duty. I've had the weekend to myself, and I'm immediately being told that everybody is treating each other like crap. People are talking to each other like crap, especially on seeing over the radio.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I've asked for specific examples. I just keep being told everyone. I try and explain, hey, I can't help unless I've got, examples or names or anything like that. And again, I'm just met with, it's everyone. And I just kind of feel now I'm at a point where I think people are just going to complain to the point of just for the sake of complaining, because I don't know whether that's a real complaint or whether that's just a lashing out sort of thing. Because there is no way that everybody is treating each other like crap right now. It's got to be specific people.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
I mean, I asked if there was cadets, right? Minerva being P&T. I said, are the cadets doing it? And she said, yeah. So then my question is why? Okay, so why aren't they handled?
It's a good question.
I think the issue is that there's a tension, but within the whole of the PD, I've lost respect for people that I held in such high regard before all of this. Purely through witnessing the way in which they spoke to people. Now, a lot of people are like under the impression that you shouldn't wrap your emotions up in your work or anything like that. But we work in a job where trust has to be gained, and I guess it should be monitored. Like it's not something that is a permanent feature. It's not like you start trusting someone and then you trust them for life, right? It's something that we're constantly having to work on with each other, and that goes hand in hand with respect. And I feel like a lot of respect and a lot of trust within each other has sort of gone. It's just spiraling at the moment.
You're not wrong. And I think a lot of that comes from us as high command, really, and the commissioner's office. Because I think a lot of the time when everything's kind of pretty good on top and everyone's kind of getting along well and there's no tension, then oftentimes the tension between officers and deputies and that kind of thing is limited to personal matters, really. But I think this is such a big thing. This is such a big event that's caused such a rupture in the police department that tension is no longer really personal, and it's just kind of everywhere. And I don't think I blame anyone unless they're being just assholes, really. But I think you're right as well that we we need to be encouraging our chain of command to be dealing with it. Like P&T needs to be dealing with the cadets and snap them out of it. And seniors need to be dealing with, corporals need to be dealing with officers, for example, and just everybody has a role still. That's what I'm trying to say is that, as much as everyone's looking up right now, we've got to make sure command and corporals are looking down because things need to keep running.
Yeah.
The C doesn't stop, the PT doesn't stop. I understand there's not a lot of trust for high command right now, but there has to, to be fair, I'm not going to ask for any. I'm not going to ask for any, but if there is any left, then just got to make sure people are carrying on. Though I have no expectation of them to do so, given everything.
It's just a lot of. I think a lot of the arguments that are going to be made is going to be things like, well, especially when it comes down to people like Brian and Axel and the Senate is going to be like, you respect their position and everything, but how can I as a command member instill in officers and corporals that we are supposed to operate on a system of trust and respect when those that are preaching it and demanding it can't even give us the most basic decency, as fellow human beings at times. One of the biggest things we've always taught is, hey, if you don't like something, don't call people out over radio, don't make a big scene out of it, talk to them afterwards and get their side of it. Well, continuously throughout this whole thing, even before the war had happened, so before any of the murdering or whatever you want to call it happened, people were treating each other like absolute crap. And it was shocking to see, and then it was shocking to also witness high command members just stand by and let it happen. So the fact that I see that and I'm affected by it, I can't then rightly tell people to respect chain of command and respect people's ranks when it very clearly doesn't go the same way for people in the higher ranks.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I don't blame you at all. I mean, just like the debrief and some of the stuff I imagine you're talking about, and
there was that, and then there was shift meetings after that. There was like, I don't know where it came from, but I remember the claim being made that people were being shitty towards those who had decided to go. That never actually happened once. It was people being shitty to those who didn't want to go.
Yeah.
People who weren't like weeping and cheering the fact that we were going to war were the ones that were receiving the shit for it.
Yeah.
Quite often, like, we're still referred to the people who stayed behind, not all the people who were making sure San Andreas was safe. It was the people who didn't want to go to the war, the people that just stayed at home. That was rough, especially when it was two of those people, which was myself and Nikki, who heard that they needed supplies, and them over in the war not having any aircraft were the ones flying to and from supplying them to be able to end it. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of feel shitty. Hey.
No, that is shitty. That kind of put you guys down beforehand and then rely on you during is
Yeah, especially Nikki. I can't remember the exact quote, but Axel definitely commented like, "Oh, hey, it's good to have you on board," to Nikki, obviously knowing that they fucked up with Nikki in the debrief. Well, the briefing, I guess it was. I don't know. The negotiation debrief. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like we're being treated like numbers. I don't feel like there's any sort of personability in terms of being constantly referred to by rank from Axel. Axel called Nikki a deputy. I mean, the least he could have done was learn her name after, you know, causing a lot of shit that first time around. But no. One thing I will say is that LSPD has very firmly shown their view and their stance on everything that's happened, and I'm very proud to be a part of that side. And if I mean, I do have faith that LSPD as a whole will push for something to get done. But I understand also that it can only go so far.
For me personally, I'm not going to speak for the chief, but she's on the same page. But for me personally, yes, it can only go so far, but I do plan to go the whole length, regardless of the outcome, because it's the right thing to do, and somebody's got to do it. You know, I think we've got a fantastic group of high command right now. You know, to give you a bit of transparency, there was a moment there before the war where all of high command were in the same room, and we were all on the same page against the actions of, you know, Sanguine and what happened with Axel and Brian, for example. Everyone was on the same page about Brian being at the negotiations and his behavior. So, you know, we all share a very similar mindset. But that being said, I can't expect anybody else to do, like, I don't know if anybody else would have questioned Axel directly. And I think that I don't blame anybody for that. Basically, what I'm saying is someone needs to do it, and I'm happy to do it. And I think I'd rather it be me than anybody else. And if I go down, you know, and something happens to me regardless, then you know, at least I'll be going out on my own terms and doing the right thing. So I know there's a lot of people,
Yeah, well,
if it doesn't go well, are very prepared to step away from everything.
yeah, I would sincerely hope that people who were nothing to do with those calls being made would be the ones end up paying for it because they questioned it afterwards.
Mhm.
I think the entire state would have an even bigger problem on their hands if that's the way that things are going to be going.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree. Yeah. I think, I don't know whether you know already, but Toretti Toretti's resigned.
Yeah, I found that out earlier today when I was talking to Stubble. I am massively concerned because he seemed to be the only neutral party at that level. You know, with the Senate
Everybody
supposed to
knows.
be, okay, I understand they'll have the best interests of the state at heart, but commissioners should be somebody who's fairly neutral. Toretti, I feel like he was with the stuff that was going on with this.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
So to hear that he's gone, I guess, is that's a bit of a blow. I think my concern is that those people that were involved who are now being brought in for question are going to group together or band together in some respect.
Yeah, it's a possibility. And that's going to be the misuse outcome, is if either commissioner or the senator basically just denies any, not denies, but basically vetoes any action that high command want to take in terms of accountability.
Yeah.
Because that's when it's going to get real messy. Because I can imagine a lot of members of high command are then gonna not want to be in that position anymore, and I wouldn't blame them for it because they're just going to feel useless and like they have no say in things. So we're going to lose some members of high command, then we're going to have new members of High Command, handpicked by the Senate and the Commissioner, and that's just going to get real bad really quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that 311 from Juno?
There's an AI Toretti?
Apparently.
Huh.
Apparently.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, if you guys need anything, any help or support with like shift 1 or sort of announcements or messages being passed forward, just let me know. If you need
Yeah, I
someone
will do.
to call someone out on anything, let me know, because I don't really have a problem with that. I prefer to do my stuff in a more professional manner than what I've seen recently in terms of calling people out in front of others. I'd rather talk one-on-one with people. But yeah, if you need that doing, I can do that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Viv. I'll if I have anything, I'll let you know for sure, because I'm definitely gonna need some help on this. But yeah, basically, just meantime, keep things running, keep the day-to-day running. That's the most important thing.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Viv.
All right. I got a brief rundown from Aaron.
Oh, there we go.
Knife in prison, no lockdown, 77 people in the yard. Group of sanguines all hauled together, believe a knife was up there. Didn't turn aggressive, was going to detain everyone. And Bayo, someone else. Bayo was 100% there. We got told